Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here tonight for the French American Entrepreneurship Award 2023. So we're here to celebrate innovation and the entrepreneurial spirit. And as we are in tech and we want to be sustainable, as you saw this year, no little leaflet on your chairs. In fact, to have the program of the award ceremony, you have to snap the QR code which are on the banners. You can do it from your seat, I think. So snap the QR code and you will have the whole program. So to officially open this award ceremony, please welcome Monsieur le Consul Général Adjoint, Damien Labon.
Merci beaucoup. Bienvenue à tous. Dear members of the Executive Committee of the French American Entrepreneurship Award Ceremony, dear members of the Club 600, chers conseillers du commerce extérieur de la France de la section de New York, dear friends et chers amis, it is a great pleasure to welcome you to the Consulate General of France tonight to celebrate the 14th French American Entrepreneurship Award Ceremony. It is always an honor to have you here and to see so many familiar faces. This is your home, okay? You belong here. I have to admit that I'm always pleased to host these kinds of events. The atmosphere, the spirit, and the enthusiasm that you can feel in a startup competition like this one is really inspiring. And this is the 14th edition of the competition. It all started in 2008 with the Club 600, a group of French business leaders who generously decided to share their experiences with French-led companies that want to get a foothold on this side of the Atlantic. Since 2021, les conseillers du commerce extérieur have been co-organizers as well, with precious support from Business France, the French American Chamber of Commerce of New York, BPF France, French founders. This event will be helping the companies that will be presented here today, Brave, Hypercell Technology, and Walter. It will help them financially, of course, because they will receive a prize worth several thousands of dollars, but also and mainly because it gives them exposure to potential prospects and partners. The effect that this competition has on helping French-led companies establish themselves here in the United States further strengthens our transatlantic economic trade. And I'm glad to report that this trade remains very strong despite the challenges of last year's. In 2021, the latest figures available, trade between France and the US amounted to more than 115 billion, up to 16.4% from 2020. We still haven't reached the pre-pandemic numbers, which was 139 billion in 2019, but we are on track to do so, and notably thanks to you. Indeed, France and the US are long-time and important trading partners with active and balanced exchanges taking place in the field of finance, luxury goods, and wine, of course. But also more and more in cutting-edge domains like technology and environmental innovation. The competition we have here today brings together a wonderful group of French-led startups with a focus on food safety, fashion, and recycling. We all look forward to learning more about them. So Brave, Hypercell Technologies, and Walter, I wish you all good luck. Bonne chance. Merci beaucoup.
So once again, thank you so much for being here for the French American Entrepreneurship Award. It's already been 14 years that this award was created with great success. With this award, the Club 600 wanted to honor and help French entrepreneurs ready to conquer this incredible but complex market. We know it's always been a dream to come here and make it in America, but it's not easy. It's very competitive and culturally very different. And this is when the FAEA jumps in to help mentor, explain, and give visibility to those great entrepreneurs. So before we start, let me just give you a few figures about the startup ecosystem and what is very, very important for the startups: money, funds. So venture capital in the US reached $235 billion in 2022. It's a 35% drop compared to 2021, but 2021 was a very special year with a lot of investments. So if we compare, in fact, investments are steady, have been steady for the last 10 years. Of this money, nearly $90 billion were invested in software industries in that year of 2022. If we look at global figures, global venture funding in 2022 reached $445 billion. So we can see that more than half of the money invested was done here in this country. So now the big question: crisis or not crisis in 2023? Well, it's hard to tell, of course, because the first quarter of 2023 saw an investment surge of 10%. But in fact, it's been due to the mega deals done by OpenAI and Stripe. So it's difficult to say where it's going to go. But what we can say is that investment trends in 2023 seem to be driven by FOMO, the fear of missing out a good opportunity, diversity, and risk. And I don't want to end before citing this little thing, and unfortunately, those great figures reflect a partial view of investment. Women are still representing only 1.9% of all investments. That's sad. And now, please welcome Sandrine Carpentier, Chair of the FAEA. Sandrine is Managing Director of Deschamps Math System.
Wow. I'm so happy to welcome everyone here for the 14th French American Entrepreneurship Award. We are very proud to have awarded more than 25 startups over the years, and to see many very successful winners. I see two of them tonight. So Pierre-Louis Théron is there, and Guillaume Bouvard somewhere. And so thank you for being here. Anything will not be possible without you, our loyal sponsors and partners. Thank you, really thank you so much for being here over the years. And a special thanks to our platinum sponsor, BMO, which have been supported the FAEA for many years. Anything would have been possible without the FAEA committee members. We have dedicated many hours, long weekends, late nights to the awards. You are all amazing. So thank you, Anne Busquet. Thank you, Karina Levintoff. Thank you, David Ortwiller. Thank you, Eric Draghi. Thank you, Florence Klein. Thank you, Gilles Rousseau. Thank you, Guillaume Bouvard, Raphaël Camp, Sylvain Hardier, and Yves Colléo. Please give them a big round of applause.
So do you remember last year, Be My Van was one of the winners. They are based in Las Vegas and very successful, and Paul Aubert, the co-founder and president of Be My Van, wanted to say a few words.
Hi everyone, Paul Aubert from Be My Van. I wanted to give you a huge good luck to all the candidates that are part of the French American Entrepreneurship Award. Last year we finished second, and it was a very, very exciting journey. We meet lots of very, very nice people that helped us to grow our business. The company is now growing more and more. I'm very happy to be part of this very, very kindly and friendly family. I'm still in contact with lots of the people that are in charge of this award. So congratulations to all the candidates. Thank you again for all the help that you gave us. And of course, you are more than welcome to come by Las Vegas and check our van. Thank you very much and have a beautiful event.
So thank you to Paul for this message. So I'm going now to have the panelists join us for this speech presentation. Thank you for being here, François and David. Your role is very important as the finalists only have a few minutes to explain what they do. And I mean, your questions and your remarks from great pros like you will help everyone discover more and understand better the contestants' purpose and business models. But first, a little introduction. François, please. So François Cress has a very impressive cursus. I'm going to do a little name dropping here. In the US, François has been president and CEO of Carolina Herrera, Stuart Weitzman, The Row, Prada, Bulgari in South America, and worked at the top level at LVMH. He worked and lived on 3 continents, which makes him a knowledgeable and very open person. For the last 10 years, François has been a very active board member, advisor, and investor for many startups. He's specializing in biotech, medtech, science, and wellness. And he himself practices wellness at a high level, running marathons and at least 50 miles per week. I'm already tired just saying the words. And the most important thing is François is a family man. He is very proud of his 5 grandchildren, and I'm sure they are very proud of you too. Please applause. Our other panelist is David Pasquale. So first and most important of all, David is a New York guy. Yeah, I mean it. He's a real New Yorker. He grew up in Brooklyn. He has all the qualities New York people have. He's daring, he has tenacity, generosity, resilience, and success, of course. He started coding at 9 years old, and of course his father wanted him to go to MIT, and instead he went to Madrid. And he even spent 2 years in France, but I promised I wouldn't ask questions in France. That's it, David? Okay, we're good on that. He created 4 companies. He held senior roles in big tech companies like Digital Marvels, VeriSign, Code, and Ericsson. He's now a partner at Studio Investments, investing in growth equity, early stage companies, PE, and VC funds. And last but not least, David has a big heart, giving a lot of his time and money to many nonprofit organizations. Thank you, David, for being here. So now we're getting to the competition, and we want to remind you the rules. So first rule, the finalists, the contestants, have a 5-minute to pitch. Then we will have questions from the panelists and a question from the audience. And of course, it's a competition, so in a competition we have prizes, and we're gonna take a look at them, and thanks to our generous sponsors, prizes include Air France benefits, offices at corporate suites, membership at French founders, mentoring, and of course, money too, which is important. And new this year, we only have winners here in this room. Everyone will be on the podium, and we have not 2 like last year, but 3 winners. So let me explain a little bit how it worked. After a first selection among a large group of startups that applied to the FAEA, the 3 finalists pitched and were questioned during 45 minutes by the jury, and the jury decided on who will be first, second, and third. And I would like to have the jury stand up, please. So Anne Busquet, thank you. Karina, who is not here. Margot Buridan, if you can stand up. Sandrine Carpentier. Éric Draghi. Gilles Rousseau. Guillaume Bouvard, Yves Colléon, Sylvain Hardier, and David Orviller, they are in the back working, and moi-même, myself. Okay, so now let's discover the finalists. The first finalist is Claire Chabot, CEO of Brave. Claire, it's your turn. You have 5 minutes.
Bonsoir. So I'm a walker, so I hope the camera is not going to be too pissed. So, oh, wow, good job. Okay, so my company is Brave, and I'm going to explain you a little tonight why we are re-engineering lingerie one breast at a time. So I love it because since the beginning of this adventure, there is a lot of women, and I hope I'm going to reach a sensitive point here. Why are we re-engineering lingerie? So quick story. In 2010, I went to Shanghai with my grandmother. It was the first time abroad for me. And I went to an Etam store. I was very excited over there. I was wondering how they adapted to the market. And the answer was simple. They didn't. I found the exact same bra that I bought in Nice 2 weeks before. And at this moment, I was 17, but I promised myself that I would change the way we make and sell bras by starting from each woman's body. And it's basically what we do, because breasts are shapes. And today, 70% of the women in the world are wearing a bra that doesn't fit. Worst, 40% of the bra ordered online are returned, which has a dire cost for the companies, for the environment. And all this is very simple. Breasts are shapes, not sizes. But still, we keep using sizes that use 2 measurements. So our solution is simple. We want to re-engineer lingerie, starting from each breast, to make them the own blueprint of their comfort. And to do that, we are using a simple trick. We make the final customer the initial customer with 3 simple steps. The first one is that we developed a 3D scanning application that allow you to get more than 100,000 data points that allow us to create a volumetric fit. There is only one size, yours. The second is we developed a 3D generative algorithm that help us to create automatically a generated fit, notably with 3D printed underwires. And the last one is our modular bra that is made with a custom fit to each breast, even if you have asymmetries. So today we have 31 patents, notably one that is pending in the US. So this is our team, Franco-American. Alex, our CTO, used to be Chief of Security for Thales. And we have Abby and Monique that take care of all the sales marketing operation in the US, and Magali that help us work with the lingerie brands. Our business model, our investors are great too. Brie is the founder of MakerBot. He used to be called the Steve Jobs of 3D printing. He sold his company $600 million to Stratasys and has helped us from day one. Vivek Batra, former CEO of DIM and Playtex. Dara Dots, who created the first 3D printer in space. John Van der Veld, CEO of Amwena USA, a medical lingerie brand. And Jeff Kirschik, an expert in sales. And with them, we are targeting mid-lingerie brand in the US. The idea is to help them change their customer experience for purchase to reduce the cost. And the way we do that is to plug as an API to their business model to help them power the experience of their customer to impact the most women possible. So today we are going to be live in a few months with the first brand in the US, and we'll keep improving with our POC with different brands. So our business model right now is on a mission. So we have a setup cost, then a fee on each sales that is not returned. But our goal is in 2 years to become a SaaS, so we can directly have lingerie brands updating their fit and their bra and be a plug-in solution. So this is our forecast, and the idea is in 2025, be a SaaS model. Thank you.
So now we switch to the panelist questions. Who wants to start?
Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, good evening, everyone. Congratulations. It's amazing to see that you had your life vocation in China at 17 in an Etam store.
I was a little obsessed.
I can tell. I have a question there. I find it, first of all, I may surprise you, but I'm not a bra consumer myself. But I have a lot of experience in footwear, for instance, and I think everything you said could apply to footwear.
Yes.
Feet are different, they are shapes, they're not size. It's a nightmare to find your right fit, especially for women, and yet they would buy a pair of Louboutin for an incredible amount of money and suffer all day long to look good. Then there's an aspect of that.
will do that to you.
Yeah, exactly. But I have seen some projects where 3D scan feet, build, design shoes around more points and parameters than they are used today, and they failed. Why? Because they're required to change an industry which is functioning as is, even if there are imperfections. The return rate you are mentioning, it happens that one of my daughter works for a very successful lingerie company, who just was acquired by Victoria's Secret, and you can guess which one. And she told me that they have a very low return actually for fit. The returns are also for aesthetic, and many other factors. Then if you really reduce this 40% to actually fit cause returns, is that big enough of a problem to justify an industry to change their processes, to also probably add a little bit of friction in the customer experience, the customer journey, and how do you expect to overcome that to make it a success?
That's a long question. So I'm surprised about the data. I know the company you're talking to because we've been working with them. And actually, we've been working on their product where they had approximately 20% return. So,
which is, sorry, the industry standard is 20% return, I understand.
Yeah, so they are below return, but it's such a big quantity. So, for example, they were losing approximately more than 1 million a year on just one style of bra. So our solution was still having a good ROI for them. So I think what's important is why a woman would do that. Why a woman wear a bra? I'm a big fan of no bra, to be very fair. I have small chest, and it's fine. But it's not the case of a lot of women. And for a woman who needs a bra, sizing is a nightmare. They wear out their bras, they go back to the store and they ask, give me the same one. There is not even the label anymore. So some women go to shopping for bras crying. And this is not tolerable. And this is what we're tackling today. If you don't have any problem, I'm very happy for you. But if you have a problem and you need this to change, we're here for you. Today, a lot of our customers, when we were selling bras, were breast cancer survivors. And they never had to tell us that they went through this experience because it was customized. So my answer is, first, we are tackle a need. And maybe not all the industry is going to change at first, but at least we can answer the need for the end customer. And the second thing is, there is a bigger vision in our project. Today I talked about the first part, but my end vision is that breasts are an object of health and not fashion. And today a lot of products have been trying to track breast health, but they don't have the right fit. Because if you have trackers, you need the trackers to be well suited. So we tackle the first one by making sure we can get a right fit, and our second phase will be way more oriented on health and becoming a Fitbit for breast.
Good answer. Thank you.
David?
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Merci.
So I have two questions and one idea suggestion. But one is when you're thinking about where every company when they launch after the first couple of years, there's a moment of click. Suddenly something works. Suddenly everybody starts to orders in this case, and they start to sign partnerships really fast when it would took you like a long time before. No, but here, where do you see the click here? It's going to happen when people use the application and they see that it's being custom made and there's a whole science behind an algorithm, or it's going to be when women suddenly receive that bride the way she feels. Because that, in theory, what I'm hearing here is going to get a game changer in the sense the way they're going to feel, and they didn't have that experience before. What do you think in those two kind of experiences?
So there is a fact and a data that's very interesting in lingerie. When it takes on average 40 tries in your life to get the right bra. And so when a woman tries the right bra, she waits for every sales and she gets this bra in all the colors. And it's really something about comfort, and there's a lot of loyalty. Today, you have, for example, a brand like Third Love that has this custom questionnaire to get the right fit that gain a crazy amount of traction. They clicked. What we want to bring to the market is this idea that you will get a fit like water on your breast. It will feel like this support. Mm-hmm. And we believe that after that, we can increase loyalty, subscription, and create a new model in lingerie that won't be only wasteful, where you produce, you overproduce, you sell and you lose, but where basically your customer will be so loyal that with a subscription you can plan your production and you can create a co-production with your customer because you already know their morphologies.
So the product is going to be the brand that you build, is going to be what they are talking about rather than the fit, which is part of the process. No? The reason I'm saying this is there comes the idea, the suggestion. No? I like the way you were put into the platform of Brave. And I think that if you think about non-related, in terms of not competitors, but brands that are probably, you can think about Vibram, Gore-Tex, 3M.
Yeah.
And if I go to a store and I see that Brave is partnering with this brand, that will give me the comfort that is going to have that quality and that standards.
It's exactly what we're aiming for.
Got it.
A Gore-Tex labeling powered by Brave.
Yeah, great.
Yes, and basically it's called an ingredient brand, powered by Brave or something like that. But I'm still a little skeptical, but maybe this conversation can have offline at some point on the ability to change the supply chain. And to your point, I understand if there is demand and overwhelming demand, then the supply chain has to change. But to change the supply chain of major corporations who live with these returns, they are suffering from it. Because in the case, there will also be returns, I'm sure, even in your process at some point. If it may fit, but there may be other issues or other reasons why people return, then they end up with a product that they cannot resell. Then maybe the net profit of the process is not so clear, etc., etc. But I would love probably to dig further.
Can I
please.
just add maybe an information about how we want to change the supply chain? I talked to a lot of factories, a lot of brands, and for example, the brand we were talking about, they create more than 120 bras a year. And so I was imagining a big team, a lot of people who were doing 3D. It was two ladies who are close to 60-year-old who draw everything by hand. And I was blown away. And so I understood that these people I'm not touching. These people, I let them do their thing. However, we can enter for the supply chain is today when a bra is fitted, for 86 SKU, it's fitted on 5%. So the amount of risk and bad fit is very increased. And also this brand produce a lot in Pakistan, India, or Asia. And so there is a miscommunication because in this factory, the person they are talking to is just not fitting on the same model. So my way of entering is once you have the 3D scan of your customer, you put this database and you know from the beginning at the moment of the pattern making what your customer shape is. And so from that, when they are designing the bras, they can have simulation and see how the bra is really going to fit on sizes that are usually not done, let's say triple D, 80. And this, we can project it very easily and measure for them. So this is my way of entering from the supply chain. I'm not trying to be wrecking ball on this. I tried, but just starting from co-developing with the morphologies of your customer as a product.
Okay, then you won't develop a single product for each customer. You are just aggregating, you are working on more bigger cluster of data.
Yes.
To develop sizes, shapes, which work better than
Thank
sizes
you.
developed on only 5,
Yes.
feet models or breast models or whatever it's called.
Our goal is still to keep SKUs. It's just to diminish the number of SKUs by thinking about assembling and shortening it by our technology.
Got it.
Skeptical?
I always am.
Okay, is there a question in the audience? Do you want to ask a question to Claire? Anyone?
Yes, I just would have loved to see a woman who wear bra asking questions, because how can you feel it? How would you know what we feel?
Absolutely.
This is a little out of, I don't understand. Why not have chosen a woman who wear bra?
Should I ask a question?
Yeah.
You're here to ask a question, Celia, so ask a question to Claire. You're a woman.
Know. Did she shoot?
Sorry, I just want to say that tonight is one question from the panelists each, and she had many questions from us, from Florence, from Anne, from Margot, from me over the weekend, because it was not like 5 minutes, it was 45 minutes, and we have plenty of questions. Thank you.
And we love the initiative. We think it's very interesting. Okay, thank you. We're going to move to the next. Thank you, Claire. So now I want to introduce Bruno Jactel, CEO of Hypercell.
All right. Good evening, everybody. It's a great honor for me to be with you tonight and to have been selected of that, the 3 finalists for FAEA. So I'm a veterinarian by training. Started my career as a researcher and now being a serial entrepreneur. And it's my honor to present to you my company, Hypercell Technologies. So what we do at Hypercell, basically we identify microbes in the food chain very quickly, very accurately, from farm to table. And to build a successful company for me, there are 3 ingredients. One is an idea, if possible a good idea or even a disruptive idea. Second, a technology that works. And third, a team that delivers. And I want to start with the team, because without the team, we're nothing. And I've been very fortunate to have brought to Hypercell around our idea a team of very world-class scientists coming from university and industry, but also to have been supported by executives from the biggest food industry in the world, either Coca-Cola, JBS, or Riches. So now what's the idea? The idea is, despite all the progress that have been made in technology and processes, the level of infection and infestation of the food chain has not decreased in the past 20 years, it has increased. Today, 45 million Americans suffer every year of foodborne disease. And that's a major issue. And one of the reasons why is because we don't test very well. And here, sorry, but I have to take you back to COVID, because now you're going to understand what I'm going to say. First of all, the rapid tests that you have been using for COVID, they're not very accurate. And you cannot do that for food chain because you don't want to have a hamburger with E. coli to go in the food chain. Now, if you want to be accurate, you have to go through PCR. But as you remember, PCR, you stay at home, you send a sample, you wait 3 days. You cannot do that with the truck of pigs coming to a farm and trying to see if they are infested. You cannot stop the food chain for 3 days to see if it has E. coli salmonella. So what happens is that people don't test enough. And second, when they receive the test, it's too late. So they run what we call it blind and behind. So we want to change that. And we change that through technology. We have designed, and this is our prototype here. This is a little box.
And with this little box, we can do a PCR test in an hour and in point of usage. So directly either in the farm or in the manufacturing plant. And with that, we can change completely the paradigm, because we can do a test which is very accurate. It's very simple. A PCR test that takes 14 steps, we take only 2 steps. Now the PCR takes 2 days or 3 days, and we take only an hour. And then we have the same level of accuracy, and we can do that directly in the point of use. And the technology has been validated right now against a lot of different targets. And if I want to take an analogy, PCR is what we use as a mainframe when we use computers. And here we are moving to the PC. PCR is a mainframe because you have to send your samples, go have a big machine, doing in a lab, and wait for the results. Here, the PC you can do by yourself. You can do rapid results, but the same level of accuracy. So we are completely changing the paradigm of food testing. And moving from blind and behind, now the operators are going to be active and aware. They know where it's going to happen. They know where contamination happens, and they can put countermeasure right away instead of waiting for recall. The proof is that today we are working with one of the biggest food operators in the world, from animal health to food processing all the way to retail. And they have written to us letter of intent. Even though we still have a prototype, some of them are saying we buy the product as soon as it's ready. Why? So what benefits we are expecting from our technology? First benefit is health. We want to save lives. I mean, even though you think it's a big goal, but that's what we want to do. 3,000 people every year die because of food infestation, food contamination. If we can reduce that number a little bit, we'd be happy. Second, money. We're going to improve the productivity of the food chain. Just an example. Today, one day, by waiting 1 day to get the result for PCR, or 2 days, you lose shelf life of your hamburger or of your prepared food. By reducing that to one hour, we can improve the shelf life, make savings 10%, 20%. One of our partners, Smithfield, can save $300 million just by reducing the time it gets to get results. We are addressing a big market, which is around $9 billion for the US. And our objective is, one, to replace PCR, because it's the same thing, but it's better. Basically, you get champagne, but for the price of sparkling water. We can replace also traditional testing, which is culturing, takes weeks to get results. And also we create new markets because we can test more and at different places in the food chain. Our business model is simple. It's going to be printer and ink, razor blades. We put this little box everywhere we can, and then we pay the little tube we put in it. And then we have a system, a database that allows to get all the information, treat the information, get epidemiological surveillance, and we make license on the data management. Overall, our business plan, let's say, just in the US, and looking at the size of the market and the number of tests done every year, even if we get only 1% of that market, we get $60 million. One operator, one plant, for one operator, is 500 tests a day. For that operator, it's $3 million a year. If we save them only 10%, 20%, it's a 3 billion, it's a sizable market. But I would say, before I'm finishing, because I know I'm running out of time, my vision is bigger than that. Because if I look only US, now if I look outside of US, if I go just to Mexico, the test, it takes a week to get the test back from PCR, not 2 days. So they even have more incentive to do. If I go to Brazil, the same thing. So by extending geographically, extending our market share, I can build a $200 million company 10 years from now. And last but not least, we're looking for money. We have the prototype, so we have the technology, it's validated. We have the customers who are saying, okay, we buy that as soon as it's done, but obviously we need the bridge. we need to finalize the product, get the certification, and put to market. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bruno. Before we start the questions, I would like you to remind everybody the figures of people getting sick. You said it's like 1 in 6 Americans. Can you imagine? Can you tell us about that? Just a little bit. Sorry, guys.
And these numbers are incredibly stable for the past 20 years. So it's 45 million Americans, 125,000 people hospitalized every year, 3,000 deaths. It's 400,000 deaths every year around the world just for foodborne disease. And one of the reasons that we have identified is really they don't do testing. Today they test only at the end when the product is already on the shelves. You can't stop the machine, the chain. In fact, we started the company, the first idea was when Chipotle happened, the disaster of Chipotle, you remember. What happened is that they started having people sick. 60 people got sick. It's not a lot, 60 people, but it took them 5 days to get the result to see what was going on. And in 6 days, they lost $12 billion in market cap. They lost $200 million in sales, and the reputation is forever tainted. And that's where the idea started to germ in my head. Say, well, there should be something that better than that. Why in the 21st century we have to wait 5 days to get the result from? But I had trouble once we started to work on the technology. Trouble to get traction because no one understood, except COVID happened.
Now we switch to the question.
Okay, I'll finish my story later because it was a nice twist.
Yeah. First of all, I don't understand why ever anybody ate at Chipotle. I mean, even before. But anyway, that's another. I'm probably gonna get sued.
Yeah.
How far off are you from this technology from working at scale? Is it functional already? Or?
Yeah, the technology is functional, meaning that this is the prototype, but the prototype works. The tests have been validated through third party, which are independent lab. Basically, what we do is that we test the results against PCR because it's the gold standard. So basically, what we need now is to transform that into the final design and get validation by an organism that give the certification.
Sorry, I have a side question to that. Is that a hardware play or is that a chemistry play? I mean, what is the secret sauce there? What's your invention which makes it so much better than PCR?
Okay, all right. The invention, in fact, is, the idea is simple, but behind that is very complex because what we need to do is you have to take the 14 steps of a PCR, reduce it to 2 steps, and in doing that, you have to have every step a different type of innovation. So we have more than 15 different patents that knock down each step to make it simple. And then the reader itself, a PCR reader it's a $50,000 machine. This one is a $500, How do you do that? So we have all the way down accumulated a lot of patents. And in fact, we are almost every week, like we had a board meeting today and the R&D presented what they had done in the past 3 weeks, and we have another 2 or 3 patents now.
Great, thank you.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
So I was fortunate to have a PCR testing at home, and so I used it for a long time. And so I understand the cycle. There are 2 things that I'm just wondering. Have you think about giving a certification or some kind of learning curve process to the people who test?
Yeah.
Because you can test it, but CDC and FDA still want that people to be certified or have some kind of status to approve the test. And the other one is, have you talked to logistic companies? I think you can go even sooner than the restaurants in terms of testing.
Yes. Okay. So first question, I don't know if I understand exactly because on one thing we need to have a certification which is relatively straightforward. Second, our idea is for this test to be used by people who are already doing testing. So the people who are part of the QA/QC organization, they already do that. So we don't change that organization. It's just we give them the tool to do it, and it's as simple enough. The way we test it, we go in the pig farm. So that's probably the most, first of all, the stinkiest place you can be, and second, the most challenging place to do a test. So we have been validating all of that in that environment. And the other thing about the food chain, yes, we're talking to eventually all the, let's say, all the operators down the food chain could be interested. But beyond that, let's say it's a platform, because you can identify with this, the same thing, the same sample, you can identify any type of microbes. So we're starting with the food chain and animal health because we know that very well. But down the line, medical environments, you can test in any type of AC if you have mold or if you have different bacteria. So once the platform is totally validated, there are a lot of verticals in which we can go little by little, and that's how we're going to build a company down the line.
So the question is, during this journey that you were creating this device, have you think about a more low-profile device that does faster testing, but not as good, but at least prevents, in the sense that...
So our objective is to, because if you go in the food chain, you have to be accurate, because there are a lot of fast tests which are not accurate. So that was the first criteria. But when I started, I said we have three, I call that quarter uno. That was the objective. You say, can we do a test which is one step, one device, 1 hour, and $1? Today, the paradigm is completely different. It's a big machine, a big lab, as many people as possible. And now we are, one test, one step, almost $1, and less than an hour. Because our objective is really to do something that is simple, but without compromising on the quality. If not, it doesn't work. It's clearly because you can't have false negatives. That's clearly the message we have. And the way we do it is that we compare with PCR. We say, okay, we cannot be, and in fact, we are better than PCR for some samples because some technicalities, but this is our gold standard. If you are not, we're not going to put product in the market. So we have done all the testing to make sure we have the same level of accuracy.
I was thinking more partnering with some packaging companies that they have some materials that help with some of the things that you're detecting. They do it like by showing different colors of packaging, but they don't work as good as NS. But it's more, at the end of the day, you want to be part of the process. But if anything can raise the alarm before, it's also good for you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I have a quick one. I use the Theranos of contamination. But if you are not, I'm happy to talk because it's very interesting.
Same question all the time, huh?
Yes, we're not. But,
You have to get used to it.
Okay, there are two major...
That's because of the box.
Okay, there are two major, or maybe three major differences. One, I'm not a woman. Second, I'm not wearing a turtleneck. And third...
You hope not to go to prison.
I don't want to go to prison. No, but we're testing. You see, it's very transparent. We are doing, external and validated testing.
Do we have a question in the audience? Yes.
Yeah, thanks. Very enlightening. One question: your idea seems so amazing. So, what would be the competition? What would prevent you to get to the expected success?
Meaning that who are the competitors?
Yeah.
Well, we have many competitors. They are really big. And probably for us, it's a chance because I come from big companies, and big companies have struggled innovating, and their business model is completely locked into big labs, big equipment, and very, very high-skilled labor. So their model is really centralized. Our model is decentralized. And today, the technology is evolving towards more sophisticated technologies to identify more precisely the genomes, the origin of the bacteria. And we move completely the other side. We say we want something simple, and we want something that do it yourself. And we want to, today, we believe that we're going to be really the first one in the market with this type of technologies. And that's where we want to be, first, rapid to the market, and in a very, let's say, aggressive way.
Thank you, Bruno. Thank you very much. So now I'm calling our last finalist. Ça marche plus. Ah si. Co-founder and chair, and Jonathan Thorne, co-founder and CEO of Walter.
Thank you very much. We're thrilled to be here and to talk to you about our social enterprise, Walter, which stands for Working and Learning Together Electronics Recycling. We are a social business with a dual mission to responsibly recycle electronics and provide job opportunities to young adults facing barriers to employment. I'm Jonathan Thorne, co-founder and CEO. This is my colleague Guillaume Charvon, also co-founder and chairman. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the exciting world of electronic waste. Americans throw out over 7 million tons of electronics per year, and it is the fastest growing waste stream in the world. And yet only a fraction of that waste is recycled. And the reason why this is exciting is that there is great value to be unlocked in electronic waste. The secondhand electronics market is worth $80 billion, and there's also great value to be extracted from the precious metals that are contained in electronic waste. We see the total addressable market here in Metro New York, which is where we operate, at over $900 million per year. We offer a variety of wonderful services to our customers, including quick and convenient pickups. We recycle all electronics using the highest environmental standards. We secure everybody's data, either through on-site destruction at your place of work or within our facility. And we offer clear and measurable reports, including a recycling report and an environmental impact report. And lastly, we ensure that our customers are all compliant with local, state, and federal regulations. And as a result of our wonderful services, we've been able to, within a year of operations, acquire a fairly nice number of high-profile customers, some of whom have agreed to be listed on this slide. So we're very pleased with that. But one of the big factors enabling us to acquire this market share is our differentiator in terms of social impact and the job creation that my colleague Guillaume will tell you about.
Thank you, Jonathan. So Walter operates out of Brownsville, East New York. Brownsville is one of the most underserved neighborhoods in our city, with 40% of its population living under the poverty line. 1 out of 3 young adults are disconnected, meaning they don't work, they don't go to school, they don't belong to any kind of social structure that will give them meaning, knowledge, and skills. Thank you, Jonathan. So we connect, that's the people we want to hire. We connect with them, we train them, we work together, and our goal is really to unlock their potential. I would like to share with you today a few of our achievements as of today. We created 12 jobs. Among them, 7 are held by young adults from Brownsville. We recycled more than 200,000 pounds of e-waste. We refurbished and sold more than 1,500 items. And finally, we were recently featured at the United Nations during the Commission for Social Development for social impact.
And while we're very proud of our accomplishments to date, we see this as just the beginning. So by next year, we want to have recycled over 900,000 pounds of electronics per year. And by 2026, we want to expand our workforce to 150 employees and work regionally in 3 locations in the New York and Northeast area. So we hope that you will all join us in our mission to provide dignified employment and reduce the environmental impact of electronics on our planet. Thank you.
thank you for the presentation. So, gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Then yes, thank you. It's wonderful to see that you have so many missions and you're doing good for the planet and for people at the same time. Now, I'm wondering, in terms of what you do, recycling electronics, what prevents other players to come in? Why? I'm sure the Apples of the world already do that partially for their own products, or maybe they don't. Then what will make you, because you have a slow, either significant growth plan, to not become just a detail out of what some massive players could do, unless there is something technological you do too, which is specific, versus dismantling electronic and reselling the parts or whatever it is. And I'm trying to figure out, besides the mission, which is wonderful, for what how different is it, or how can you make yourself absolutely necessary in the landscape?
So I guess the first thing I would say is that right now a large amount of electronics are going unrecycled, and the amount of electronics we are throwing out is going up every year. So there is a lot of market, so to speak, to be acquired that's unaddressed. There's a fairly high level of technicity to the work that we do, so it requires to be able to do logistics, to do data destruction, to do repair, to trace everything very precisely. Chain of custody is very important to customers who want to make sure that all their items are, being watched over and taken care of. And so combining all these items and doing them well and doing them accurately is not that easy. And frankly, Apple is not super interested in necessarily in getting into this because they make a lot more money selling iPhones at the moment.
Very clear. Then the flip side of these questions, and it's very manual intensive. It's a lot of steps. Does that get profitable?
Yes. So the margins are quite good, mostly because the items that we collect for free. So that's a good price. And even though we have overhead costs and other things like that, the margins are worthwhile. And we have the support of two larger electronic recyclers based in France that have helped us set up our operations, explained what's worth dismantling, what's not worth dismantling, and we continue to evolve that model here based on the U.S. setting, basically.
Great, thank you.
So I have 3 quick questions and then one idea, but now 2, because you just answered the profitability, which, by the way, congratulations, I'm amazed. Because even if it's free, there's still a process and you still have a small size to be already profitable, so congratulations. The second question I have is how you're thinking of expanding, because I saw this plan of 24 and 25. Is this organically extending to another cities, or how is this is right now in your head in terms of expanding?
Okay, so organically, do you mean like using our own funds that we generate, or by raising funds?
It could be raising, but also just expanding in New York, zip code by zip code, or it's more about rescaling in a different direction.
So we think that within Metro New York, we can scale right here because the market is quite big. And there are other sort of dense urban areas because we do need high volume. We have a warehouse, we have high overhead, frankly speaking, and we need a lot of volume of electronics to be profitable. So there are other urban areas that could be good candidates. We would like to not be located too far from New York because we think there are sort of economies of scale and efficiencies to be had by being not too far from each other. So I guess we would want to stay sort of in the regional northeast area.
So that's where I'm going to challenge you in that one. I think that both of you have learned how to set this up from the scratch, what it takes, what kind of people can do this job, what are the processes, the logistics, the permits. If you think about franchising this in a certain manner, there are unfortunately other neighborhoods like Bronzeville and many other cities in the United States. And there's a lot of people that are looking for this willingness of working on something that impacts from climate and from social impact. I will probably, not today, but at some point close, think about it, because this country is great to do franchisees. And if as far as you have the process and the mission and the vision of what you're doing very clear, it could scale faster.
Well, we'd be happy to talk about that. We're certainly open to it.
He's okay. He agrees.
Yes, thank you. That's a very good point. I mean, our goal is to develop a blueprint, and once we have that, we can scale up and replicate the same model, I mean, everywhere in the US. That's really, I mean, not there, but in 10 years, that's really what we would like to do, and to grow our impact in different cities here. Yeah.
I want to point out that what you guys have done, very few have done in the waste management in this city in decades. Like, just obviously in the scale, you're not making noise enough to, bother others, but still, it's impressive. It's like, in order to do that in New York, there's a lot of hurdles.
We know that, yeah.
And they already have great clients in the city and the state. Any question in the audience? Pierre?
What is the value of the e-waste, and do you think it could increase in the future, and what will be the trend?
The value of e-waste, well, that's a tough question because it really depends are you selling it for scrap, are you fixing it? An item that's functional is worth many, many times the value in scrap that's extracted. So for us, our preferred outcome is to fix something, extend the useful life, and that's our best financial outcome and also the best environmental outcome. In terms of future trends, we're seeing volumes of e-waste go up. A lot of the quality in terms of scrap value is mostly going down. People are finding ways to be more efficient about how much gold or palladium or other precious metals they're putting in. So, I guess while the volume is going up, there is some downward pressure in terms of, the value of the scrap that's being produced.
Hi, I was wondering what your acquisition strategy is for your employees, and do you offer like apprenticeships to help younger folks get off the streets?
So we practice what we call the targeted hiring process, open hiring process. So targeted because we know that the people we are reaching out to might not be the ones applying for a job. They integrate social exclusion in a way that they don't think they can really work in this kind of company. So we have to reach out to them, and for that we use, we are partnering with a strong network of trusted non-profits in this neighborhood, including ATD Fourth World, which I'm also the national director. So we have roots in this neighborhood for a long time, which allow us to really reach out to the right people. But also we are very open to other partners, including Goodwill or the Good Shepherd, who help us with that. So vetted by our partners, we welcome young adults, and we are open hiring process because we don't do background check, we don't do drug test. If they want to seize the opportunity, the door is open and they can start to work from the one day to the other. And one thing I didn't mention, but we are very proud of, is that since we started more than a year ago, almost, in our floor manager, in our floor associates, we don't have any turnover as of yet. So they started with us, and they want to see this company grow, and we want to grow with them. And so their personal growth is really connected to their professional growth, which is connected to the growth of our business.
Just to follow up on the apprenticeship piece, part of the vision here is not to just offer, just to speak crudely, like a dead-end minimum wage job where they'll be stuck, which a lot of workforce development projects unfortunately do. And the idea is also that they start, in terms of learning process, they start doing fairly simple manual labor, unloading a truck, data entry, and then those who show the willingness can move to more complex tasks, dismantling, data destruction, testing, fixing computers. And so some of our associates who've been with us longer are starting to acquire those skills, which frankly increase their income, but also increase their prospects even if they choose to work somewhere else at some point.
Thank you. So I want to say a big thank you to all the finalists. And also to our panel, David and François, thank you so much for being here and helping us understand. Thank you. So before we have the results and the ranking of this year's competition, Christophe Weisberg, député des Français de l'étranger, wanted to say a few words. He's at the Assemblée Nationale in Paris, and he sent us a video to show his support to the contestants and the FAEA.
Bonjour à tous. Hi Club 600. Hi to the French American Entrepreneurship Awards. I wish I was with you guys. My name is Christopher Weisberg. I'm a member of the French Congress representing the French living in North America. Unfortunately, I have to be in Paris, stuck in our swamp here in Paris. But I wish I would be with you because I know you guys are doing amazing stuff with Brave, Hyper Technologies. Walter, you are the 3 finalists of this contest. I wish you all the best now. I wish to tell you that you are invited here in Paris at the Congress and to meet French representatives. So please do your best. Once again, I wish I was with you guys, and next time I'll be there. Thank you so much.
So now I would like you to help us a little bit. You know, I'm going to make your work. Can you please take your phones out? Yes, it's allowed. Can you go to LinkedIn? Everybody knows that. Then you go and look for French American Entrepreneurship Award, our account. And then you click follow us. And when you're done, you raise your hand and your phone, and I know that everyone here can follow us. Okay, I'm waiting. We want, Sandrine, bravo. Very good in the back, thank you. Yes, thank you. Perfect, Annick, merci. Yeah, great. A little bit more. Yeah, Paulina, fantastic. Jean, merci. Who else? Yeah, thank you. We're 100 people here, so merci Ellie. Job done, thank you. Okay, perfect. You can also follow us on our social media. So now, I would like, before we announce the winners, I would like to welcome our platinum sponsor, represented by Margot Buridan. Margot, please come and join me. Head of Wealth Management for Northeastern Region at BMO. First, we will look at a video.
BMO Wealth checked off quite a few boxes for me. I wanted to go to a place that really valued the client.
We at BMO surround our clients with a full team, and that's what I find to be a huge differentiator for me.
I value working for a large bank. It has the ability to access highly customized investment and lending solutions for clients.
The kind of clients that we work with, they have a lot of complexity in their lives. We have all the resources and specialists available that can come to the table no matter what the client needs.
So one of the benefits of being a boutique is you can be very nimble. One of the benefits of being a large institution is your leverage and your scale and your power. BMO has both.
Thank you. So good evening, everyone. It's an honor and pleasure to represent BMO Wealth Management tonight. We have proudly sponsored this incontournable competition among the French entrepreneurs in the US for many years now. Just to clarify, as some of you may know, BNP Paribas sold its US subsidiary a couple of months ago, Bank of the West, to BMO. So in a nutshell, BMO, which stands for Bank of Montreal, was established over 200 years ago in 1817, and it's now North America's 8th largest bank, with over 1 trillion assets. BMO is highly diversified and serves over 12 million customers with a broad range of services from personal and commercial banking, wealth management, global markets, and investment banking products and services. BMO purpose is to, and I'm quoting, boldly grow the good in business and life. And to achieve this, they have made commitments. The first one was promoting a thriving economy by helping individual and business succeed. BMO is the 5th largest commercial bank in the US. A digital-first approach for simplification and scalability. Ensuring a sustainable future by becoming our clients' leading partner in transitioning net zero and striving to be one of the most sustainable companies in the world. And finally, fostering an inclusive society by committing to zero barrier inclusion for employees, customers, and the community we serve. More specifically, BMO Wealth Management has a long track record and focus on assisting business owners through a segment we call BOSS, so Business Owner, Strategy and Solution. So both helps integrate entrepreneur personal goals with the needs of their business, so including tax planning, cash management, investment diversification, which key for business owner, insurance, retirement, investment planning. And in addition, as a foreign-owned bank, BMO has a strong experience and keen interest in cross-border situation. So once again, this year, I was delighted to see exceptional founders, very inspiring, and especially that align our values. So, each startup shows great promise, and I'm looking forward to witness you grow and expand in the US. So congratulations to all of you. And before turning back to you, Florence, I would like to give a huge kudos to the French American Entrepreneur Awards Committee and to the Club 600 for organizing this fantastic competition once again and sourcing all those inspiring entrepreneurs. Thank you.
Thank you, Margot. So you stay with me because now we're going to announce the ranking of the winners. Sandrine, please, Sandrine Carpentier, come on stage too. So we will be announcing the 3rd place winner. Ta-ta-ta! Where is the music, the Oscar music? David. So the 3rd place goes to Walter. Very nice. Thank you. And congratulations. So the 2nd place goes to Brave. Bravo, Claire. And big suspense. First place goes to Hypercell, Bruno. This was a great competition and everybody was so good. Please, all the winners, go to the step and repeat banners for the photos over there. So you have to go there. And because everybody has been so good too, and you all connected to the FAEA account on LinkedIn, now you can join us for the cocktail with the generous and delicious sponsorship of Angelina Paris and Baron François. We're very lucky tonight. Enjoy. Nice to see you.